Revenge doesn't always have to be pro or nuclear to be good. No, sometimes it can be petty, like you'll see in this episode of Petty Revenge. Our first one is from ZZZ Top. This story is old and roughly 40 years in the making. This local farmer basically screwed a group of people by deciding to only pay half for their labor and threatening them to the authorities. The same people he threatened poisoned his field by throwing wildflower seeds all over it. He lost 25 grand cleaning that up the first time and losing 2 to 5k every couple of weeks that they popped up. Someone was regularly throwing wildflower seeds all over his acreage, and whoever's doing it has been really good at it because nobody was able to figure out how. He lost over $500,000 in the years. He ended up selling the land at a loss to cover his debt to his younger brother. His brother, out of spite, split up the land and sold it off to the neighbors and raked in a huge profit. While he was in town, he watched his brother try to build a handyman business, and his brother found some of the people he threatened and invested in building a rival business, pricing out his brother. The farmer is old as hell now, and still several $100,000 in the hole, and he's been living in a trailer outside of town, working as a farmhand to other farmers. I finally heard the story of why his brother did what he did, and it was his older brother basically scammed the farm from the family over rumors of the younger brother getting some girl pregnant and leaving her. Their father made him leave town to avoid problems. The younger brother made money as a traveling salesman and bought a ranch in Texas where he built a profitable cattle business. The guy that told me this story told me how the wildflower prank was done without anyone catching on. It was the farmer next door's son-in-law. Every time they crop dusted the fields on his relative's field, he would fly over and dump a 50-pound bag of wildflower seeds over his property because he kept stealing his family's hay and never returned some kind of expensive farm tool. And here I thought it was maybe one of the workers that this brother was trying to report to get half-price labor. Crazy that it was literally the son-in-law from the farmer next door. Although I have to admit, the way the younger brother ended up getting revenge was priceless. This next one is by Mr. Pooper. This happened about 15 years ago in Jackson, Mississippi. My then girlfriend and I were living in an apartment complex on the outskirts of Jackson. We didn't have a washer or dryer in the apartment yet, so we had to use the community coin-operated units attached to the leasing office and pool. One night after I had returned home from work, I wanted to get some laundry done so I could just relax the next day. So I took my laundry basket across the parking lot, ran them through the cycle, then came back from my unit to put them in the dryer. When I got back to my unit again, I realized a stray wet sock had stuck to the side of the basket, so I had to run back over and throw it in. When I got to the dryer, which was the only one in use at that point, I found my clothes had been removed from the dryer, tossed into the dryer below it, and a few shirts, jeans, and socks in its place. They smelled like chlorine, so I had a pretty good idea what happened here. To confirm, I snuck around the back and spied 3 late teen, early 20s swimming in their underwear. It was mid-August, so I figured they had jumped in there with their sweaty clothes on. Then found a paid-for dryer running and decided to save the $1 and screw me over instead. I was pretty mad about what I found, so I switched the clothes back, and was about to put their wet clothes in the lower dryer again before I had a better idea. I took their clothes, walked over to the large garbage can, and tossed their clothes under the garbage bag between the liner and the outside of the garbage can. Then I waited the last 25 minutes and took my clothes back as quickly as I could. I guess I wasn't quick enough because I heard some panicked voices calling after me when I was almost back inside my apartment. "Hey, excuse me, wait!" I locked the door behind me, but a few seconds after, there was loud knocking on my door. I opened the door, and before me stood a dripping wet young man and 2 equally wet young men. They immediately accused me of stealing their clothes. I simply said, "Well, no, these are mine. I had the only dryer in use at the time, the top one to the far left." I knew they wouldn't come out and say they stole my dryer, so I just kept staring at them, then asked if there was anything else they needed. They tried to say I must have been mistaken and taken their clothes also. So I pulled my laundry basket out and shifted some clothes around and said, "Nope, they're all mine." They were forced to give it up and walk back to wherever they came from in their underwear. The worst part is that it had been a hot and rainy summer up to that point, so the mosquitoes were out in full force. I'm sure that was an itchy walk home. That's a great revenge on people that literally just want to steal, even if it's $1. It's the fact that they assumed that they could just do that with absolute impunity. I wonder how many people honked at them as they were walking home, and I really hope the mosquitoes went to town. And our final one is from Known Examination 45. Me and my fiance have been couch surfing while waiting for our move-in date. We have all of our stuff packed into the vehicle, and we're only 2 weeks away. The last place we were at was with a couple that she knew. The wife was pregnant, and for a few days, things were going well. They gave us a tour of their house and everything, and me and the husband got to flex our cooking muscles together. We got along really well, and even exchanged numbers so we could keep in touch. Not long into our stay, however, my fiance calls me while I'm at work, saying she needs to talk to me as soon as I get off. When she picks me up, she tells me that she's been in the car all day. She told the roommates that she went shopping. She started crying and told me that the husband had grabbed her ass and tried to get her to sleep with him. My initial reaction was explosive, but then I calmed down and told her we can go back and get our stuff. When we got there, the couple was sitting on the couch watching a movie. He called me buddy when I came in, and I had to resist the urge to throw something at him. I told him I needed to shower. Meanwhile, my fiance quietly grabbed the few things we brought in. In the bathroom, I took a marginally decent crap. To save you the nasty details, the conditions were right for me to scar him for life. He had this overpriced $200 loofah in the shower. I used it to scrub my body. Felt great. Then I used it to clean my unwiped bottom, making sure not to wash it, and put it up where he usually hung it. After that amazing shower, I came out and got dressed. I checked on my fiance in the car and went back in for one last gut punch. I told his wife that he tried sleeping with my fiance, and to no one's surprise, I find out that this isn't his first time. I left in a hurry while they argued, and me and my girl got the hell out of Dodge. I got a text the next day, one of them in all caps, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" followed by a picture of his loofah covered in dry fecal matter. I simply sent a laughing emoji and blocked his number. If that's not a way to get back at somebody that literally tries to sleep with your partner, I don't know what is, but that's absolutely fantastic. Leaving that loofah covered in shit for the shitty individual that would use it. Alright, that's enough pettiness for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Petty Revenge. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.